Hey, welcome back. Or if this is your first time seeing this video, welcome. I'm Wally Carmichael. Chances are you're watching this video because you're going through your due diligence and making sure that this program, this business consulting program, is right for your business consulting practice. Whether you're just getting started or you've been a business consultant for months or years, you're trying to decide if this program is right for you to plug into your practice. So what are you going to get from this video? The purpose of this video is to show you how we price our business coaching practices and why we price them that way. And we're going to make suggestions on how you should price your business coaching program. Now, there are multiple programs, as you're going to see when you go through this. You can start with flash coaching, which is 15-minute coaching. I'll get more into that in a minute. You've got group coaching. You can literally set up a 5-week to a 50-week business coaching program in literally 5 minutes with everything from video, action guides, all the downloadable documents, everything else that you need, and even all your PowerPoint presentations that you may need, or how to conduct your weekly meeting. And one-on-one coaching, and even one-day coaching, where some coaches have charged up to $5,000 for a one-day consulting fee to go through and do an assessment using our Deep Dive 40 assessment. We're going to get into, and on top of the pricing, we're going to get into multiple ways that we teach our coaches, and how I have personally used myself, a way to get in front of the ideal client and then convert that client to a paying customer, and then get that business owner client quick and long-lasting results, ensuring that they stay and pay for years, not just months. And they're happy to. Listen, when you start getting stories or you start getting phone calls from spouses saying, look, I don't know who you are, but whatever it is that you're doing for my spouse, please keep doing that, because he or she is coming home on time every day. And when they're home, they're actually home and engaged. They're happier, they're sleeping better, their health is improving. All of this is what's possible when you actually make a difference in somebody's life, as far as making a difference in their business and in their personal life for that matter. So that's what you're going to get from this video. By the end of this video, you are going to know for sure if this program is right for you and your business coaching practice. It's important that the expectations are set properly, and that's the reason why I do this video. Now, after this video, you're going to get an opportunity to do a video interview if you haven't done so already. And you're going to submit that to my team and I, where we are going to review that video and your responses. And then we'll make a decision if we want to get on the call with you or not. And if so, we'll send you a Zoom link. We'll get on a call. You and I personally will talk. And together we will make a decision if this program is right for you. No pressure whatsoever. All right, let's get into it. Now, as you go through this video, if I may, I suggest you go through the entire video. Just sit back and watch it. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself something to munch on, and sit and watch this entire video. I get it, it's kind of long, and because I want to make sure I set the proper expectations for you so that you know and understand it. Now, I can't possibly touch on everything that we do within this program to make you successful. This is just some of the key points that I'm going to point out that have really made an impact on most coaches and consultants in their practice. So watch the whole thing, then come back and make any notes that you have, jot down any questions. So when or if you and I do end up getting on a call, you have your questions front of mind and you don't forget them, and we can get your questions and concerns and your comments addressed. So our goal today is to help you build a successful business consulting practice within 3 to 6 months. And what I mean by that is actually signing business owner clients. I'm not talking about making you 6-7-figure income earner in the first couple months. Most business consultants take years, if ever, actually getting a high-paying business owner client. And there's many reasons why, and some of which will be addressed here. I can't possibly go through the whole process. But how we get paid, this is how we're going to get started. We're first going to talk about how we get paid, how you get paid, how you can set your prices. Then we're going to go into lead generation and a couple ways to consider your lead generation process. And then you make the choice to do which ones you want to implement in your business. Then I'm going to show you how we convert those leads into paying customers and literally have up to a 70% conversion rate. Then what's really important is actually how to get those business owner clients results, and quick results within the first couple weeks to the first couple months. If you don't, most business consultants, most coaching clients will go away within 3 months. That's the average. So I'm just going to open these up, and some of this I'm just going to rush right through because this is recorded and you're going to be able to come back to this information. There are 3 basic ways that we get paid within this program, and there are other ways as well, which I will share with you once we start working together, because I've got multiple streams of income all built within this system and within my specific system. So first and foremost is the one-to-one coaching. The average client, the average business coach within this system will charge anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 per month for one-on-one coaching. I've charged up around $4,000 a month for one-on-one coaching, and even bigger than that if I got an upfront payment of upfront fee. Then you have the option for a 5 to 10, maybe 3 to 10, whatever, but I wouldn't say more than 10 back-end revenue share. I'll get more into that later. This entitles you to receive 5 to 10% of all additional revenue that you help your clients generate. Additional revenue above and beyond what they have already gotten to. And there's a way to calculate that and a way to make sure that it is properly reported to you. That's part of your coaching program. The second way is group coaching. Now, many business owners, they probably can't afford, or they feel that they can't afford your fees. So you have to have other options. You have to have other ways to help those business owners. And group coaching is a perfect way to do that because you can coach one-to-many. In fact, I personally like to start with group coaching. In fact, recently I started with flash coaching, which I'll get into in a minute. But you start with group coaching because through your group coaching, you can resonate with some of your group members and decide which ones you want to do one-on-one coaching with, because I promise you, you're not going to want to do one-on-one coaching with all of them, and even some of them, because of personality conflicts or whatever the case may be, you get to pick and choose who you want to do one-on-one coaching with. Then the third way that's listed here anyway, there are others as I mentioned, is flash coaching. We literally just had a client, and this flash coaching is fairly new. It's only been out about 2 months at this point, and at the time of this recording anyway. And we just had one of the coaches just posted in our private Facebook group that he signed a flash coaching client for $5,000 for 3 months. And he's going to be 15-minute calls, and the system does most of the training. Well, the system does all the training, and then he does 15-minute coaching calls within that time. And we'll talk more about how that works out as well, and you can read it there. And the other thing about group coaching is we have already developed everything that you need, just like with the group coaching. You got the flash coaching and the group coaching, and I like to use flash coaching as a gateway into group coaching or one-on-one coaching, or even my one-day coaching, or maybe even my 3-day exclusive. And I'll talk more about that later, and that's a $50,000 program for a 3-day exclusive for up to 10 clients. I want to show you this chart, and the reason why I'm sharing this chart with you is because this breaks down the meetings that we meet, and I'll talk about what those meetings are specifically, and how 10 meetings is an absolute ridiculous number to set up 10 meetings per month. Because from 10 meetings per month, within just 10 meetings, you should be able to land at least 3 clients. One as a one-on-one client, one into your group coaching program, or one into your flash coaching program. And it can be any number of combinations or whatever. I totally get that. But this is just a baseline to understand. And then you can see how the numbers break down there, and how all of that cumulatively can add up to about over $200,000 in an annualized income. The purpose of today is to help you build a successful business consulting practice within 3 to 6 months. And again, I keep reiterating this, successful means actually signing clients. And at some point, maybe within 6 months, maybe within a year, You can replace whatever income that you currently have, or actually reach the income goals that you need to reach for whatever lifestyle it is that you're looking for. In order to do this, you must come across as credible and knowledgeable. This is one of the biggest problems that business consultants have when they first get started. And this is true with all businesses. Every consultant have this problem, whether they're a fitness coach or any kind of coach, a relationship coach, you name it. Credibility and knowledge. How do you prove that? How do you show that? How do you let the marketplace know who you are? Well, we build your professional coaching website. If you don't already have one, or if it's a site that was built, looks like it was built in the 90s, we're going to bring you up to par and build you a professional looking website. It's going to have your color scheme on it. It's going to have your headline on it, your bio, your books, whatever the case may be. And you see it says there, get my free book. We also do magazine covers for you if you wish. That's an option. And you can have an article written about you and put into the small business magazine. Another way that we make you credible is we give you an online academy. This online academy is branded to you, and it's got just hundreds of hours of video and thousands of PDFs and content and checklists. And I mean, you can just pause this and open this up and look at how much information is in there. So we give you this professional online academy. It's basically the Netflix of business information. We make you credible because we make you a published author on multiple levels. You get one book here with there's over 30 chapters for you to choose from. You pick 10 of those 30. You go ahead and change them up however you want to change up the verbiage. Put it more into your words, the way that you speak. Put your bio in it, put your image on it, change the title, whatever title you want it to be, and then you can put it up on Amazon as long as you make those changes. And you can put it up on your website, like you may have seen on mine, or put it up on your signature block. Then you get this other book, which I refer to as my heavy business card. And it's got basically the 12 strategies that are in the Jumpstart 12 assessment that I'm going to share with you here in just a minute. Again, you change it up as much as you want to. You put some graphics to it, some images, your bio, anything like that dedicated to whatever. And then you can use this as a business card. How do we make you knowledgeable? Well, partly from the academy that I shared with you earlier, but also we've got the Profit Acceleration software. We've got the group coaching software, digital acceleration software, the Profit Acceleration Simulator. Literally, business owners have told me, Wally, you are an absolute genius. I've never seen this stuff before. And quite frankly, while I would like to take full credit for that, the software does most of the work for me. We just have to show you how to properly present it. You've got the software training that teaches you how to use the software. You've got the Jumpstart 12 training, and actually there's a total of 40 strategies, but we start with the Jumpstart 12 because those are the top 12 strategies that we tend to use with most business owners in the first 6 months to a year of us working with them. We've got the PAS role play prep. And this, I'll move my mouse around a little bit over here so you can see what I'm talking about. The PAS role play prep and the PAS role play, what that is it's an assessment that you're going to practice with one of our Profit Acceleration role play specialists. And they're going to act like they're the business owner, and they're going to start from the very beginning, which is easy, making sure that you know how to properly set up the software, navigate through the software, and have the basic conversation and connect it with Zoom and all that technical stuff. Then role play 2 gets a little bit more difficult on a different scenario. Then role play 3 is more difficult yet, with a business owner that's going to be pushing back, that's going to have some objections. It's there to help you grow and to get past that problem of the jitters of actually doing the role play. And most people have said that they've had a harder time doing the role play with their peers, with the role play specialist, which are for all intents and purposes your peer, than they've had doing it in front of an actual business owner client. And it makes it so much easier. I've got the lead generation training, extensive lead generation training on live calls, videos, with networking, with live event mastery, you name it. And then we've got the marketing and financial training. world-class training for you to go through. We've also got your own resource center. Now this resource center, you can scroll through some of this. We've got agreements and forms already done for you. We've got drip campaigns already created for you. How to properly set up joint ventures with business brokers, with accountants, with JVs, with print shops and other businesses that are B2B. You've got the focused masterclass, master ad library. You've got weekly focused calls, training videos, scripts, everything you possibly need. You've got the Ask the Expert live call every single Wednesday, which I personally host. People just come on and ask questions about their business, about if they need some help with a business owner client. We get on there and talk about that with the software, you name it. It's an open forum. You've got the software Q&A calls. If you have any questions about the software or any updates, that are usually announced on that call. You've got the lead generation support calls, like I said, live calls, and you can get on one-on-one calls with our lead generation specialists. And then there's other leaders here, and many more than this. These are just a few at this point. This picture was taken of us back in Cancun last October. You see me right there. And there are over 1,000 coaches in our private Facebook group. This Facebook group is worth the price of entry by itself. People come on here daily and ask various questions, and you can pause these and read them, but the type of questions that are in there, and then underneath each one of these questions would be anywhere from 5 to over 40 responses of people helping each other, business consultants helping each other. And then, you can pause and read through some of these. This one right here was literally just posted shortly after the flash coaching was released. And Rebecca had landed her first coaching client. This is not the one that I was just talking about that signed up flash coaching for $5,000. That one just posted today, and today at the time of this recording is May 28th, 2023. Now there's 3 major concerns that every single business consultant has. And before I get into that, sit back, take a breath, pause for just a second. Seriously, take a breath. Pause for just a second, because I just shared a lot of information with you, and I'm going very fast because we've got a lot of information to get through. But while it is a lot of information, I want you to understand, don't get overwhelmed. You need the information when you need it. How will you know when you need it? I'm going to show you. There's an implementation schedule that will show you step by step what information you need when you need it. So don't think you need all of this information getting started. But this gives you a huge advantage over other business consultants out there who do not have a system in place. You know what I'm talking about. You know, if you've tried to create your own content, it can take months, and it just digs into your time and money. And never getting started, I know, because that's what I did. I felt if I was going to do this, I need to have systems and processes in place. I need to have courses in place. And it just kept being an excuse to not move forward and to not actually go out and gain my first client. Now, can you go out and gain a client without having all that kind of stuff? Sure. But the credibility is not there. And the knowledge isn't there. And the trust level is greatly decreased, making it much more difficult to actually gain a client and get them results and have them stay with you for years. So the 3 major concerns we hear from coaches that we speak with, and I've literally spoken with hundreds of coaches, both in the network and outside of the network. The 3 biggest by far are these: how to generate leads, how can I convert those leads into paying clients and do it more often, and 3, how can I get my clients fast results so they stay with me much longer and continue to pay. And number 3 kind of feeds into number 1, because if you are not confident that you can get somebody the results that they need, number 1, you should not be going out and trying to get clients, which is why most business consultants don't go out to get clients, because they are not absolutely 100% sure that they can get those business owner clients the results that they need. So it's a vicious circle. We're going to address all 3 of those concerns. So first, how you get clients. The most effective ways to sign up clients, and I'm just going to push right through these so you can read through them, but I'm just going to go over the top two. I'm going to go more in depth in the top two in the networking and the live events. But then there's joint ventures with business brokers, accountants, chamber of commerce, other networking events, other business-to-business type entities. I'll show you all of that stuff. We've got videos and workbooks and checklists and scripts and everything around all of that. We've got action calls that add immediate value to people, proving that you can actually get them results. You have social media. Consistency is the key. Real quick story. Just recently, within the last 2 weeks, I had somebody who found a video of mine that I posted over 2 years ago. I was doing a review on a particular service that I use. That person was looking for that type of service and found that video, and then went down a rabbit hole and started finding all of my videos on social media and my content on social media. And by the time that person got on my schedule, he was already sold. He already knew he wanted to do business with me. That's the power of a consistent social media program when it's done properly. And I've got ways for you to get that done without you having to do most of the work. Okay, sounds like a pipe dream, but I promise you, I'm doing it every day, and I've shown other people how to do the same thing. Then one of my favorite is down at the bottom, and I'm actually starting to do a training event. Matter of fact, tomorrow, I'm starting with a couple coaches to train them on how to get on other people's stages and platforms, and both live and in person and virtual, and how to create their signature talk, or how to use our live event mastery presentation, which I will be going over with you here shortly. So one of the lead generation processes that I'm going to share with you here today and get a little bit more in depth in is networking. Now, when you go to a networking event, you have to have a goal in mind. So many people that go to networking events, they just want to go and just kind of stand in the corner, mingle a little bit, talk about the kids, things like that. Hey, what do? You don't. Most people that go to a networking event don't have a market dominating position. They don't have a compelling offer. They don't have their signature talk. They don't know what they're going to talk about. They just do it haphazardly and then say networking doesn't work. Or they go and they collect, they give away all their business cards. I've heard so many consultants come to me and say, hey, I ran out of business cards at the networking event. What the heck are you handing out business cards for? Nobody's going to call you because you didn't have anything compelling to say while you were there. You didn't get their attention, right? So what you need to do is, one, instead of giving out business cards, collect business cards. Even better, I have a digital business card that I use, that I tap on their phone. They get all my information, and then they send me their information, and I have it right there on my phone, and I categorize it by what networking event I was at when I received that contact. And I put some little notes in there that we talked about this, that, and the other. He's got 2 kids, lived in California, likes golfing, whatever the case may be, so that I have that information for later. You see, we have a plan. You have a process in place. And few people go to these networking events with the right goal. They just want to go and try to sell their stuff. You're not going to sell anything at a networking event. The main purpose for a networking event, in my mind, is for you to set appointments. That's the main purpose for you to go to the networking event, is to set appointments. So you're going to attend 2 networking events per week, live or virtual. And there's a lot of virtuals out there. I'll show you how to find all of these networking events. You arrive early and you stay late. And you meet with at least 10 business owners. It's kind of like a round robin, really quick, and you show them the things that you want to show them. And we have a script for that. So let's say, for instance, you're at a networking event and you meet somebody and you say, so Jerry, what do you do? Oh, I own a daycare. Oh, that's interesting. What made you get into that line of work? Oh, it's been in my family for years, so it just kind of inherited it. Oh, how's everything going for you? Just so-so. Well, what's the problem? I mean, why just so-so? It's, darn inflation, it's devastating my margins, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, they'll put in anything in there. Well, how are you going to handle that? Honestly, I have no idea. Let me ask you this. Would the problem go away if you were making more money and maybe even had more time to enjoy the money? Well, yeah, of course it would. Well, suppose I could show you in less than 5 minutes how you could double your current profit and do it without spending any money on advertising or marketing. Would that interest you? What do you think they would say? Of course. What do you got? 5 minutes? Yeah. So you attend these events, and the main purpose is to set appointments. So let's take a look at the numbers from just going to networking events with a direct approach and a script and know exactly what your goals are. If you can average 8 appointments per event, obviously that depends on how many people are at the event and how many conversations you have. But let's say you have 10 to 15 conversations, you could realistically get to the point to where you could easily book 8 appointments per event. If you attend 2 events per week, that's 8 events per month, you could total 64 appointments. Now, I don't know how much time you have, but 64 appointments is quite a few. Even if you cut that in half and get 32 appointments, you're going to be doing pretty darn good. Now, another way to get leads, and this is one of my favorite ways to do it, I absolutely love doing this, and that is live events. And we call them focus groups or profit acceleration workshops or whatever you want to call them. But these are live events that aren't like filling a ballroom or filling a hotel room. It's literally 5 to 10 business owners to a 2-hour live event. And usually we do breakfast or just after breakfast. And I usually provide like pastries and some coffee that I pick up at Starbucks on the way there, those boxes of coffee. And the topic can be whatever. But in this case, we say how to dramatically improve profits without spending any more money on marketing or advertising. That really gets people's attention. Then you JV with local businesses to sponsor the event, having them pay for the coffee and pay for the venue, and maybe they even have a venue, like if it's a bank or a CPA firm or an accountant firm or something like that would complement the event, and they have boardrooms, they have rooms where you can do these events at, not costing you anything. Then you offer a profit acceleration assessment at the end of the event. So you invite them to that assessment. Or you could invite them to your group coaching program, or you could invite them to flash coaching program. But you have to know which one you want to invite them to primarily, and use the others as either a cross-sell or a downsell. Revenue generated by our coaches has been anywhere from one event with about 10 people, 7 to 10 people in the room, from $35,000 to $137,000 per event, meaning they signed up 3 to 5 coaches from one event at $1,500 a month or $3,000 a month. How amazing is that? Now, we recommend that you do 2 live events, live and in-person events, and 4 virtual events, but it depends on how much time you personally have and how busy you want to be. How hungry are you? We develop everything that you need for this whole process. Everything from start to finish. We have paint by the numbers agenda. We create the squeeze page and landing page for you and update it each time you have a new event with the proper date, registration, even the payment link if you want to put the payment link in there. We have the PowerPoint presentation and script for the video. You see over here, if you look over here, there's a video that would be right here. We have the script for that, or you can put your own video there, or you can use the script here and read it word for word and create the video yourself in your own words or in one of your partner's words, whatever you want to do. We have the scripts for you to make the phone calls, go to networking events, do whatever you got to do to put butts in seats. And remember, all you need is 5 to 10 business owners. You don't want any more than that because you can't follow up with everybody within a couple weeks. After the event or at the event, you're going to schedule anywhere from 5 to 7 assessments. These assessments take about 90 minutes each. So you're not going to want to have more than 10, because if you have 15 people there and then you have 10 or 12 appointments, you may not be able to get to all of them right away unless you have a partner you're working with. We have the presentation PowerPoint. This one says Kansas City, but you update it. This right here is your sponsor. Remember I was talking about having another business sponsor your event. So Rocket Growth in this case is just a placeholder. This is an action guide or workbook that you hand out at the event, and they fill it out as they go through it. That's fill in the blanks. And it's a great tool because they're taking notes on this, and they take that back to their office. They throw it on their desk. Their colleagues are going to come in and go, what is this focus group thing? Oh, it's this thing I went to this weekend. I think you should check it out yourself. We've got the flyers that you can hand out and put them at the different business venues. We've got your focus group feedback form, which is extremely important so that you can further improve your program. But look down here, the gray area. That's where people put referrals. And what I do is at the end of the event, I say, hey, look, if you got any value out of this event and you have business owners that work around you, it's so important for business owners that work around you to be successful as well. Like if you're in a strip mall, it's extremely important that your neighbors are doing well so that clients are coming, and that puts more clients in front of your storefront. So please feel free to put their information down there, then call them and tell them that I referred you to this guy, Wally, to give you a call and invite you to this focus group. I highly recommend that you go. Then for those that, it's usually really fast after these events, and people want to, they got to get to work, they got to get back to the office and stuff, and you're busy. So all we do is give them a card. It's this little card, and they just put their information up here on top, and then they put a check mark in whatever day and time would be the best for them. And then we take that back to our office and have our assistant, or you, if you don't have an assistant, contact them and lock in the schedule. At the end of the event, this is the close. You can pause this and read it, but it's very simple, and I actually have broken this down even smaller, even shorter, to literally just 2 sentences. And I'll share that with you once we start working together. So how would you fill your live and virtual event? Well, you could use all the strategies that I mentioned earlier, or any combination of them. I would say master 2 or 3. But let's say that you're mastering networking, and that's the way that you're getting in front of people, and you're getting people to your live and virtual event, or you're inviting them to the assessment. In this case, we're going to invite them to your live or virtual event. And you're going to use the same script that we talked about earlier to invite people to an assessment. All you're going to do is adjust question 5 and 6. Question 5, you change it to, suppose I could show you in a 2 short-hour workshop how you could increase your current profit by more than 400% and do it without spending any money. Would you be interested? Well, that's where you invite them to the 2-hour workshop. You give them the time, location, or you give them a link to go ahead and get registered. Or even better, you open up your phone, you get their name and email address, and you go ahead and register them for the live event right there on your phone. They receive the confirmation information and the reminders of the event, and they show up. That's the way I would do it. I wouldn't leave it to chance, but it's really that simple. Or you can use some of the other strategies that I mentioned. For instance, you could use a phone script. We've got the whole script right here already written out for you. All you got to do is change it up and make it your own. But 90% of the work is done for you. This particular script, as it's written right here, was tested by a couple of the coaches that's in our network. They made 60 calls, or one in particular coach made 60 calls, 29 business owners answered, or somebody in the business answered, and 15 people registered for the live or virtual event. It's extremely powerful when it's done correctly. Now let's look at the numbers from live and virtual events. You could conservatively average 5 appointments per event. And if you do 2 live events and 4 virtual events per month, you could realistically land 30 appointments per month. You add that to the 64 appointments that you got from networking, and you've got a total of 94 appointments per month. I don't know if you can handle that many, but even if you cut that in half, you're doing pretty good. And that's just from 2 of the marketing strategies, 2 of the lead generation strategies and booking strategies that I mentioned earlier. So coming back to the analysis, you can see why 10 meetings per month is absolutely child's play. It's so simple to get 10 people in front of you to do your profit acceleration software. And the better you get at this, the more meetings you're going to be able to schedule. And the better you get at each one of those meetings, you're going to be able to definitely convert more than 3 people per meeting into whichever one of your programs that you want to convert them into. The reason why we only have 1, 1, 1 all the way down and 3 all the way down here is because we don't know if, like on month 4, you're going to decide to take a vacation and not do any meetings, and then come back in month 6 and kill it and get 40 meetings in that month. Since we can't predict that, that's why we left the numbers like they are. Now, we talked about how to get leads, we talked about networking, and we talked about live and virtual events. We didn't even get into joint ventures. We didn't talk about all the scripts and everything that you have for your action calls. We didn't talk about our social media process, workshops, masterminds, lunch and learns, beer and business, wine and whiteboards. I mean, you name it, just so many things that you can do. And we didn't even get into the in-depth process of creating your own signature talk and getting on other people's stages and platforms. Or you could use the live event mastery presentation that I shared with you earlier when you get onto the chamber and you're asked to speak at the chamber, or you're asked to speak at a meetup, or you reach out to a particular group and want to speak at their conference that year in Vegas or Cancun. Like I'll be speaking this next October in Cancun. I've done a couple virtual events already this year. So it's really simple to do this stuff. You just have to have the right processes in place, and you have to have the right scripts and the checklist. Now, let's get into the fun stuff, if that wasn't fun enough for you, because I absolutely love that stuff. Again, let's pause for a second. Take a deep breath, relax for just a second, get you a sip of water, get your coffee, whatever it is that you're drinking and munching on, and just relax. Because we're going to get into something that's very fun here, and this can get very overwhelming because you're going to think, how in the world am I going to be able to do that? Look, we've got a training process in place. We've got people in place that are standing by, about 14 people in total, in the whole process of setting up your websites, getting your books written, getting you trained, doing the role plays and all that kind of stuff to ensure that you are being successful. And as a coach and a consultant that is specifically working with me and my team, you're getting additional resources and additional coaching and training that is exclusive to my team. So, you ready? Let's get into how we sign up clients. You convert a lead into a client, you must fulfill on the promise you made them. You remember in the networking example, we shared with them that we would show them how to double your current profit and do it without spending any money. And then when we talked about the live and virtual events, we talked about how we could show you in just 2 hours how to increase your profits by more than 400%. And do that without spending any more money on marketing and advertising. How on earth are you going to be able to do that? Well, there are 2 proprietary tools that we've developed that we're going to show you how to use that are going to be able to prove this to your clients. They're going to see it. Seeing is believing, right? Seeing is believing. You're going to be able to show them the money, literally. And then you're going to be able to show them a step-by-step process to get it done that you and your team are going to be able to walk them through. So the first tool is the Profit Acceleration Simulator. And the second tool is your Profit Acceleration Assessment. So I'm going to go over the simulator first because that's the one that you're going to use at the networking event. All right, so what you're looking at here is the Profit Acceleration Simulator. You can find mine at wallycarmichael.com/SIM. And on the simulator, you can read through the content here, but I'm just going to show you the numbers and how this works really quickly. So I've got a business here that I'm working with, and I'm talking to the business owner, and he or she tells me, I reported $1 million in revenue to the IRS last year. Okay, so I put $1 million in there. I asked them what their gross profit margin is. I asked them what their net profit margin is. In this case, I've gone ahead and put 50% for gross profit margin and 10% for net profit margin. Quite frankly, few business owners know their margins off the top of their head, or their margins are so terrible they don't even want to mention it. So they'll tell you something that sounds realistic, right? Now, 10%, the reason why I have 10% net profit margin in here is because if you go Google net profit margin of the average business in North America, it's going to come up with between 7 and 10%. Okay, so let me enlarge this a little bit so that you can see it a little bit better. Now, I put the US dollar, but obviously, you know, we work with a lot of different industries and a lot of different nations, so we have all the different currency down there as well. Now, how am I going to show a business owner to double their profits? Many businesses they've just been spending frivolously. They've signed up for all kinds of subscriptions. They've never changed insurance. They've never changed their credit card processor, and so many other things. They haven't updated their vendors. Their vendors have increased prices over the last couple of years, but they themselves have never increased prices, right? So we're going to start with cutting costs. It seems like that wouldn't be a great way to go, but quite frankly, I have literally found my coaching fees with these two strategies right here by themselves. And when you put just cut costs by 5%, I've seen up to 15% in cutting costs. I've heard of more, but I've seen up to 15% in being able to cut costs for a business. That puts immediate cash back into the business. Immediate. Then you look at increasing prices. Let's say we increase the prices by 5.5% because their vendors have increased prices by 7% over the last year, right? And you're not going to do that on all products and services, but you're just going to, test it out on a few. What that's going to do is, if you look down here, their previous, it should say, net profit was $100,000 off of that $1 million. First off, let's address that. You make $1 million in revenue and the business owner is only netting $100,000. That's terrible. Who would want to do that? But here is the new profit just from those two changes, just from increasing prices and cutting cost. Increase the new annual profit by $200,000 and the 5-year profit impact $500,000, which would actually be more because it would amateurize. How awesome is that? Now let's look at the same scenario. How are you going to show them how to increase profits by 400% or more? Well, let's go up here and let's put in here 5% all the way across the board, all the way down on these top 12 strategies. Look at the percent increase. Total impact profit increase is 427%. It goes from $100,000 to $527,000 for the new annual profit. Of course, it might take more than 12 months to implement all these strategies. It depends on the business. It could take 6 months to implement all these. This number is going to continue to grow, right? But that may be unrealistic to some business owners. So consider you just put in here 3%. That a little bit more realistic? It still increases 235%. That's a heck of an increase. What about 4.5? Almost 400% increase. So you get the point. Then, if they want to get a deeper dive, they can see all of these other strategies, how it works. And then this is a tool, by the way, that you get access to. And then when they go ahead and they want to get the report, they can put their name and email address in here. They can get that report. That information also goes to you so that you can contact them and you already know what's going on in their business. You already see this number. You already see all this information that they've put in here. And you just give them a call and say, hey, I noticed you just filled out my profit acceleration simulator. Would you like to go through and do the full assessment? Now, when you complete this simulator at a networking event in front of a business owner and take about 3 to 5 minutes doing so, you are going to be able to get them scheduled for an assessment. And this is the assessment. So what I've done is I've put in a business here, the numbers. This is General Service LLC, but these numbers are from an actual conversation that I had. And the current revenue for this business, I put it in here in the financials. I put $800,000. and I put 10% net profit margin, 50% gross. This was a home building company. That's what's average. And remember, average means mediocre. That means some people are doing a lot better and some people are doing worse. So we go back here to the summary. And what I want to do is, before I get to this point, before they actually get to the assessment, they fill out an intake form that lets me know key information like their margins and other information that I need to know that helps me decide which of these strategies do I want to present to them within 60 to 90 minutes, showing them how much money they're leaving on the table by not properly implementing these strategies and not working with my team and I. Now you can see down the list here as I scroll through all the strategies. There's a total of 40 strategies in total, but there's 27 listed here. There's just other strategies kind of embedded inside of each one of these. So that's why we call it the Jumpstart 40. This is called the Jumpstart 40. You'll see it up here. Now, what I do is I come through here and I'm just going to go through one example, for instance. Let's say, for instance, I do market dominating position. And I come in here and I generally don't show this page, but I'll read through some of this, explaining what a market dominating position is. I'll even show them a part of a PowerPoint and an example, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute, of how we use the market dominating position to increase profits for a business. But I go through here and I ask these questions. How many times have you gone to speak with a business owner client, and then when you leave, maybe you landed the client or maybe you didn't land the client. Let's say you didn't, and then you're driving down the road and you go, oh man, I should have asked that question. Why did I forget to ask that question? Right? You don't have that problem here. You have all the questions here laid out for you step by step. And then you tell them, look, after you share with them what it is and you ask these specific questions and you go, a powerful market dominating position has been known to increase a business's revenue by as much as 50 to 75%. Based on that and the example that I shared with you, how do you feel that this would impact your business? Generally, they go, oh my God, 30%, 40% at least. And I'll go, that's probably true, but I like to keep the numbers very conservative. So are you okay with me just putting 7%? And look what happens if I put 30%. Watch this number right here. If I put 30% in here, see that number jump up to $240,000? Completely possible. And you can see the graphs moving over here. So that's why I put 77%, because this is going to accumulate with all these other strategies. Then I say, well, what if your team could clearly articulate your market dominating position? Do you think that would impact your business as well? Well, sure, absolutely. Well, I agree. How much? I don't know, another 20, 25%? Okay, I agree. But are you okay with me just putting 3%? I want to be very conservative in these numbers. I don't need to inflate them. Okay, cool. So you submit that, you go to results, and they can see that the first year profit from this one strategy, when properly implemented, will increase the first year profit by $40,000. And they can see what the impact is going to be. This is extremely powerful. Seeing is believing, and seeing these numbers and seeing them as realistic is very, very important. And we can continue going through the rest of these strategies. After we're done with that, we go to prioritize, and we prioritize each one of those strategies. We put 3 to 5, 6 weeks in here, how much time it's going to take to implement those. And once we do that, we save that, prioritize it. And if we look at this and we go, well, you know what? I think this one should be up here. We can override the software. We can override the software and see, because the software will say do cutting costs first and market dominating position. And that makes sense, but maybe I need policies and procedures in place first. Maybe we need to get this business organized. So I'll put that there, then I'll save it. Then I'll come over here to implementation and show them that we have a step-by-step process to get this done. There's no guesswork to it. We know what to do. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. We know what to do it and do it in the right order. Make no mistake about it, and you should know this. Putting these strategies in the right order is just as important as building a house or baking a cake. If one thing is out of order, the whole thing crumbles, costing time and money. If the drywall guys come in and put the drywall in before the plumbing and the electricians, then they have to go out and tear out all the drywall, costing time and money. It's the same thing here. Everything has to be done in a proper order. This is why many business owners are failing, because they know what they have to do. They just don't know the right strategy to do it, and they don't have it in the right order. I'm just going to show you really quickly what my close looks like. You ready for that? Here it is. Mr. Business Owner, I just showed you out of these 6 strategies that I've shared with you here, out of the total of 40 strategies that we have here, that you're leaving at least bare minimum $208,000 on the table by not properly implementing just these 6 strategies. On top of that, we've got an implementation schedule that clearly tells us exactly what strategy to do first, second, third, and in what order. Now, my question to you at this point is, what's holding you back from implementing these strategies on your own within your business? Well, the answers that come from that is usually, I don't have time, I wouldn't know how, that's not my specialty, I wouldn't know how to do that, I'm an HVAC business, I don't know how to implement these strategies, I don't have anybody on my team to implement these strategies. After they get done talking, I say, those are very common answers, and I thank you for your honesty. So obviously you would like our help with this, right? And that's it. That's the close. Now, of course, they're going to ask how much it's going to cost, right? But if they ask how much it's going to cost, I get through any of the other objections here before I go to ROI. I'll say, hey, look, we're going to talk about, how this is going to be very affordable to you. In fact, my goal is to make my fees a true investment that's making you money. And oh, by the way, your investment in me is tax deductible. But before we get into ROI and we start talking about the money and your investment, is there anything else that would hold you back from us getting started today? And I get through some of those, I kind of get a soft close here, if you will. Then I go to ROI. And over here at the ROI, again, seeing is believing. You still see the $208,000 up here. And I'll say, well, Mrs. Business Owner, our fee is $50,000 up front. And for that $50,000, you're literally trading $50,000 for, at this point, a bare minimum of $207,000 in the first year of us working together. Now, there's a little disconnect up here. It says 208 because this is going beyond a year. The first year in this scenario, with just 6 strategies and ridiculously conservative impacts, bare minimum $207,000. That is a 416% return on investment in the first year. And it shows the revenue down here as well. $50,000 for a $323,000 a year revenue increase. That is a 646% increase in revenue. Well, let's say that they do push back on this $50,000, because obviously that does happen. If I'm absolutely positive that I can work with this business, this type of industry, this type of business, because I've done it before, or some of my colleagues have done so before, then I'm going to do everything I can to gain this business owner as a client. Usually they push back on the price, regardless of the price, because it's a lack of trust. It's rarely because of the money. It's almost always because of lack of trust, or something that I didn't do properly. And it's not just lack of trust in me as the consultant, it's lack of trust in themselves. And I've got a strategy to get beyond that, and I'm not going to get into it here for this particular call, but for this particular video. But let's say that they push back on this, and I say, you know what, if we can make it more appealing to you, can we get started today? Is there anything else holding us back? Well, no. Okay, so let's say that instead of $50,000, it's $25,000 today, and a $2,200 a month retainer. Okay, that's $51,400. I know I'm going to be able to get you these results. And you can see it's a little bit more than what was original, but it's because I'm waiting for my money. On top of that, on top of me reducing my fee on the front end, I want 10 cents of every dollar that I help you generate over the course of the next 6 and 12 months. So what that 10% revenue share does is if I help this business owner generate an additional $207,000 in revenue, that's $32,000 back in a check that I receive. So my goal is to make this 500,000 or more. Because when I make this number 500,000, this is 50,000 at a 10% revenue share. So that's what we was talking about earlier with the revenue share that's not even calculated into that diagram I was sharing with you earlier. This is extremely powerful. When you can show them this and you can decrease, and even if you were to decrease it by, let's say just 2,500 today, but however you want to do this, $4,000 on a retainer. That's $207,000 for, they're trading $50,000 for $207,000, and you can still do the revenue share. So you're showing them the money right here. And this is it. This is why we are able to close so many people. From right here, I have received credit card information and got them started at this point right here. Sometimes the business owner will say something like, well, can I see this in writing? I want to see this in writing. Absolutely. We've got reports. We've got a report pretty much 90% done. You can see that the business information here, your business information is here. It's written in throughout this entire process here. It's already written in, right? It's done. Every time you change something over here, it completely updates it here. All the strategies that we went over are all listed here in the order that we put in the implementation schedule. It even shows cost of continued inaction, how much money they're leaving on the table by not taking action and working with us right now today. With the graphs, you can change any of this. You can change the color schemes. This is downloaded in a Word document, and then you update it, save it as a PDF, send it over to them. They sign it, you sign it, and it's all done. All of your notes from the entire process are all down here. You don't want to share this with the business owner. These are your personal notes that you keep, and they're all put right there in the report. In addition to that, if you don't want to do the full report, you just send them over a roadmap. The roadmap shows them how to get to that revenue level, and it's all done right here for you. All you have to do is download it. Agreements, all of your agreements are right here in the software. You just download these agreements. The memorandum of understanding, contingency agreement for your 10% revenue share, non-disclosures, standard agreement, you just change the yellow highlights. You got it all done right there. You've got strategies built in here already. And while I'm in here, you can go to your coaching portal where you've got your each one of your clients is all right in here. Everyone you're coaching with one-on-one, you've got them all right here with all the information you need. You keep it all right in one place. You don't have to have notepads all over the place, spreadsheets on one computer and a file, all your stuff. You keep everything right here in one place. You've got training videos for each one of these pages. You've got your implementation schedule. It follows through step by step on everything. You've got the archive, right? If you want to archive that, everything's in your coaching portal. You've got your flash coaching here if you have access to flash coaching. You've got group coaching down here. You've got the resources that I shared with you earlier that are it just goes through so much information. Your done for you presentations, your software marketing assets, your grant program, agreements and forms, drip campaigns, joint ventures, and of course you have your online academy over here. Real quick, I can just go for hours on the online academy alone, but each person you sign up in here, they go through this entire virtual MBA. They get 50-week email series automatically sent out on your behalf with your information. This is the financial training business owner for small business owners. If they want to get access to that, they can pay for access to that. You've got your advertising library in here with some of these that are just absolutely amazing. You just update them, have somebody update them, and it's done for you and your client, saving you so much time and money. This right here, by the way, is one of the reasons why I decided to partner and include this information with my business consulting practice, because I didn't want to go create all of this stuff. I didn't have a desire to do any of that. So I just plugged into what was already done for me. And, let's look at a painter, for instance. Look at all the assets that are already built in here and done. And while we're in here in this coaching portal, and we're looking at compelling offer, and we're going through this particular process where we say, okay, let's say we completed this one, and we're in progress with this one here. I didn't even get into the AI tool that's built right here in this process. So if I come in here and I want to create a compelling offer for a contractor, it'll give me a response right here in the tool. And if I want something else, I can type something else. As I go through here, and if I want to archive that and I want to save that in history, I can save that in history. But I can use the AI tool right here in the system for much of what I'm doing, further adding to the content that is built within this system. Again, take a deep breath. A lot of information. You can pause this and come back, but I'm going to keep on going. So this is going to be very quickly because these slides kind of share some of the information I already shared with you. But our proprietary profit acceleration software contains 3 versions. The Jumpstart 12, which is what many use. I like to use the Jumpstart 40 because it's got a lot more strategies built into it. So let me share with you real quick what I'm talking about. The Jumpstart 12 has those top 12 strategies that we use with most business owners. But every once in a while, there are business owners that need more trust and expertise that's not part of the 12. Policies and procedures. They need strategy. They may need scripts. One of my favorite strategies to go to right away is reactivate former customers. So if I show them this and I go through this process of reactivating former customers, I find out how big their list is, how often do they email their list, what new offers do they have that many on their list are not currently using, what services that they're not using. I can take, for instance, somebody who's in the financial industry, and maybe they have financial products and insurance products, and they have some clients that are using insurance products but not their financial products. We can create their market dominating position, use it from here, then create their compelling offers, and then create their drip campaign and send out a reactivate former customers campaign via email, text message, voicemail, even phone calls, and literally overnight get them 30 new clients on new services that they've already been working with before. Absolutely powerful tool. So that's why I like to use the Jumpstart 40. The Deep Dive 40 is the 40 strategies, but each question is a much deeper dive into each one of those strategies. Very, very detailed. It'll take a total of about 6 hours to get through the entire Deep Dive 40. And some people have sold the Deep Dive 40, a one-day assessment, for $5,000 or more. Now, coming back to the simulator really quick before we get into how we get clients' results. At the end of that simulator, or even at the end of the assessment, and you show them the money, and in this case, let me show you the profit impact we can achieve in just 90 days. And your current profit is whatever, in this case, $10,000 profit, has skyrocketed 430% to over $53,000. How do you feel about that type of increase? This is why it's important to keep it realistic and not overinflate the numbers, because they will say it's too good to be true. But they usually say it's absolutely amazing. And they're thinking in their head, how in the world is this possible? And then I might say something like, listen, I only charge my clients $1,000 per month to get these kind of results. Would it be worth a $3,000 investment for 3 months to help you increase your profits from $10,000 to over $53,000? That's a 1,400% return on your investment. What do you think they say? They're in. They at least want to sit down and do the additional assessment and personal assessment. Getting a total of 3 clients out of those 10 meetings is, again, child's play. You could definitely get a lot more than that, especially when you practice this with our role play specialists. All right, we're at another transition. We're getting ready to show you how you can get your clients' results. How do you use these tools to prove that you can get them results? Not just prove to them, but prove to yourself that you can get them the results that you're promising them. You're promising them the double your income, or you're promising them a 400% increase in revenue. So how do you do it? You use our profit acceleration software, what I just showed you. I'm going to show you back of the book answers. You find financial breakthroughs in the following 12 areas in any business. These are the 12 areas I was talking about that are in the Jumpstart 12. And remember, there's a total of 40 strategies. So let me go back over to the profit acceleration software. In the implementation schedule, under each one of these, there's a step-by-step process to get each one of these done. It starts in the beginning and goes all the way down, literally step by step by step. All you have to do is follow the formula for each one of these strategies. You can also find this information in the coaching portal. So coming back over here in the coaching portal with Service Guy Subcontractor, who we were working with before, and you go to compelling offer because that's the strategy we're working on it this week, and we come back over here to the one that's in progress. Well, how do I do that? It's literally step by step. It literally is fill in the blank and has the information here that you need to do for each one of the strategies. And of course, remember, you got the AI tool built in here as well. And now to prove to you that these numbers are extremely conservative, I'm going to share with you a real life case study of a cosmetic surgeon using just 2 of the top 12 strategies. This case study is done on a cosmetic surgeon who is one of the top cosmetic surgeons in the world. He has a resort in Mexico where they do the procedures and then the patients stay there at the resort to recover. He specialized in what was referred to as mommy makeovers. He was getting 35 leads per month running Facebook ads that were pay-per-click, basically in the sponsored ads, spending about $6,000 on Facebook. And to be clear, those 35 leads really weren't even leads because they were phone calls that were calling into the office that he wasn't capturing so that he could continuously communicate with them and drip a drip campaign on them. He had no market dominating position that addressed the primary problem his ideal client was looking to resolve. This was his ad. This was it on Facebook. It was this beautiful woman here that doesn't look like she needs plastic surgery in any way. And it said, nurture the body that provokes true envy. This does not enter the conversation taking place in the ideal prospect's mind. After some consultation, the team came up with this. Do you want the body you had before you had kids, with a much more realistic image of somebody who might want to do some plastic surgery? Just changing that one thing, creating the market dominating position or figuring out the market dominating position and then creating a compelling offer and messaging generated 400 leads per month, actual leads. They were requesting more information. That's an 1,100% increase in leads. Now remember, those 35 leads, he had 0 conversion rate. Not one of those 35 was converting into paying clients, partly because he wasn't consistently communicating with them. He had no compelling offer whatsoever. His offer was call us, like everyone else. Call us for a free consultation. Call us for a free offer. And the other problem was with this was he was sending that Facebook ad. When they clicked on a link, he was sending them to his website. You do not want to send paid traffic to your website. The much better option of many is to send them to what's called a squeeze page. Now, a squeeze page, you probably already know, is a standalone page with only one option for a button, and that's to put in their name and email address to receive more information. As you know, business owners don't know that when people are out shopping, they're not looking to buy, they're shopping. They're looking for information. They're gathering information. If they're out physically shopping, they're touching the fabric and feeling the furniture and sitting in it. They're gathering information. When somebody's looking for a service like this, they're looking for specific information. What are the risks? What are the benefits? Will it look natural? Is it painful? So on and so forth, right? That's what they're looking for. And the business that is going to provide that first is going to win. So what's going on here on the squeeze page, you may not realize, is what's called the conversion equation. And we'll teach you much more about this. But the conversion equation is interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. The interrupt is the headline. I want the body I had before I had kids. Then the engage is Time to get rid of the problem areas of your hips, thighs, and tummy. Yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Here's a little bit more information and then the opportunity to get even more information. Name and email address. We sent them to the squeeze page, not the website. At this early stage, prospects want information, as I said. Results from the improving just these two areas, the market dominating position and the compelling offer. The previous conversion rate was 0. The report opt-in was 67%, making the conversion rate 12%. He had 400 prospects per month. 67% opt-in rate generated 268 new leads and 32 new patients for $600,000 monthly revenue. Again, this is just 2 of the 12 strategies that we teach you. And to be clear, there's over 40 strategies that we teach you that you can use to get your business owner clients the results that they're paying you for. You implement these 12 in the first year that you're working with your clients, and you can conservatively produce $500,000 in additional revenue for any business owner that implements them properly with your consultation. Your share, if you do the revenue share, is $50,000 plus your monthly coaching retainer. So what do you think? Does this sound realistic? Does this sound like something you can do? Do you think that you can schedule at least 10 meetings per month and from that gain just 3 clients per month, allowing you to generate whatever level of income that you want to create and have the lifestyle that you're looking for? And keep in mind, this annualized income does not even include the revenue share because that's harder to predict on this scale. Now let's get ready to close this up. I just want to recap real quick some of the tools and assets that you receive. Some of that are going to be listed here I didn't even have a chance to go over. You get the Profit Acceleration software, you get 2 ghostwritten books, you get the Academy member site that's built into your software with all of your assets that, we didn't even have a chance to go into, too many to list. You get your coach's lead generation site. You get live and virtual event mastery with all the assets that I previously mentioned, to include your action guide. You get your own dedicated onboarding team that takes you through the entire process of getting all of your assets built, getting training done, getting your role plays done, learning the software, learning the strategies, everything you need to be up and running within 3 to 6 months. You get the access to the private Facebook group, multiple weekly training calls. You get the weekly Ask the Expert call that I host. You get the weekly group coaching software call that I also host. You get the 3 lead generation calls, one specifically on live event mastery. You get the software Q&A calls and periodic other calls throughout the week. Plus, specifically working with my team, you get a mastermind and be a part of our business consulting mastermind. You get a coach's resource center with more resources than you will possibly ever need. You get the master ad library. And by making a decision to work specifically with me and my team, I give you access to an optional fulfillment system that is a CRM on steroids. It's got all of your marketing campaigns in there, and you've got everything you need from squeeze pages to drip campaigns, text message, email, communicate with all of your prospects via Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, email, chat widget, which I put on your website, and so much more. But you get that specifically by working with me. So what's possible for you? You can actually create time, location, and financial independence for yourself and your family. My family just got off of a 14-month RV trip traveling around the United States, and we've traveled abroad a couple times over the last year, and we're getting ready to go travel again to another country. I can still do this while I'm traveling as long as I have an internet connection. I've truly created time, location, and financial independence for myself and my family. It allows you to work from home or wherever you want to work from. It allows you to take vacations when you like. My life is literally like a vacation because I work around my family lifestyle. You never get fired or laid off, and you give yourself a raise whenever you like. I want to be very clear. I'm not making this out to be that it's just sign up and all of this stuff's going to magically appear. It takes work. You have to come in, you have to be serious, you have to be dedicated, might I even say a little bit obsessed with helping business owners so that you can learn the skill set that you need, both tangible skill sets that we're going to show you, plus the non-tangible skill sets, the soft skills that you need to actually know how to coach people. And you have to take that information and apply it and go out and get the leads, and we'll show you how to do that now. And myself or one of my team members will be right here by your side to help you convert one of your business owner prospects into a paying client, should it come to that. If you do need that level of help, we're going to give you that level of support. Nobody provides that level of support. Check us out for yourself. But here's one thing that's very, very serious and near and dear to my heart. You literally have the opportunity to change lives. You have the opportunity to possibly save marriages and even save lives. It really is that serious. I can get into many stories as to why I know that is, and you may already know. What are your other options? And yes, you do have other options. You may already be looking at other business consulting, franchises, or licensing programs. One of the many things that I like about this program is you get to use your own brand. And if you don't already have your own brand or starting to build your own brand, we will show you how to do that. We're putting all these tools together for you and empowering you to make you credible and to make you knowledgeable so that you don't have to live on the back of another brand. But here's some of the differences between us and the other franchises and licensing programs out there. Do you get a private one-on-one coach? Generally, in most cases that I've seen and heard from others who have come to work with us from other programs, they don't get a one-on-one coach. You get several one-on-one coaches actually with Abundance and Prosperity Business Mastery by working directly with me. You get myself, plus you get the entire onboarding team. An author program. Most don't offer that. I've not seen one that offered an author's program. You get at least 2 books written through us. Weekly coaching? Absolutely. Some of them do have initial coaching, but they don't continue the weekly coaching to the extent that we do. Weekly live expert help. You have that through live calls, and you have that through the Facebook group. A dedicated role play specialist. In fact, you get at least 3 dedicated role play specialists with the software, and you get a role play specialist with your lead generation process. You don't get that with the other programs at all. Fulfillment system, that's the optional one by going directly through me. I have all of that taken care of for you with all the assets already built in there. What's the investment for the average coaching franchise out there? Now, if you've looked, you've seen this. If not, I encourage you to go check it out. The franchising fee for the average coaching franchise out there is anywhere between $50,000 and $75,000 up front before they'll even talk to you. We pay this up front for you. Many of them take a percentage of the coaching fees that you go out and get business owner clients on your own. You may even spend money on advertising to get clients, or you're spending your time to go out and gain clients. And then when you sign a client, they charge you 15 to 20% of your coaching fees. We charge you 0%. When you gain a new client, that is 100% your client. What's the length of the contract? 5 to 7 years on average for most of the franchises out there. We have a monthly agreement. Our stance is this: if our process and our strategies and our software and our tools can't make you successful to where you're earning way more than what the fees are, we shouldn't continue working together. So why have a contract? We find it completely disingenuous. Territory restrictions. Some of them have territory restrictions. Not all of them, but many of them have restrictions within a certain geographical area. For us and for you is planet Earth. Monthly maintenance fee, $1,400 to $2,000 a month on top of what you've already paid up front, plus a percentage of your coaching fees. Then there's still a monthly maintenance fee. For us, it's just a few $100s, especially when you're just getting started. So what's the investment? Our investment in you right up front. We're spending all of those assets that we have built for you, all the training, all of that costs money. Those people have to be paid. That runs about $10,000 for your onboarding, for your websites, training, role play, your books, all that stuff. Your investment today is to continue your due diligence. Just a little bit of time. Probably take you a couple hours to do your due diligence and decide if this is for you or not. Then you submit your video interview, and that takes a little bit of time and thought process, but you have time to do it. It's a video interview process where you'll see me and I'll ask you some specific questions, and then you reply with video. Once you submit your video interview, my team and I will review that, and together we will decide if you seem like a good fit for the team, at which point we will send you a link for you to get scheduled on our Zoom so that we can have a one-on-one interview and we can get to know each other on a more personal level. I'm very selective about who I choose to bring onto my team, just as selective as I am about what business owner clients I want to work with. So remembering that we spend $10,000 right up front with you, what we have is a repayment schedule. That repayment schedule looks like this. It's $497 for the first 3 months as you're going through training, right? That hardly covers the $10,000. But we feel that it's fair because you're in the process of learning. When you go into a college or university, you commit to paying $80,000, $120,000 over the course of however many years. You get that information, you continue paying for that information. So basically you pay for it up front. The way we see it is we want to make sure that we get you trained. So we keep the $497 for the first 3 months because you should be done with your training by then, at which point you should also start gaining clients, business owner clients, to cover your fees. And then we take the payment to $1,297. There's one option for the $1,497, which I was talking about, the optional CRM and the optional fulfillment package. Then that would jump up to $1,497 when that time comes, but we'll have that conversation later. You invest 2 to 3 hours of study, practice, and implementation every week. If you're able to do that, just 2 to 3 hours every week, then you can realistically break even by month 4. If you have more time on your hands, and you can commit 4 to 5 hours of study, practice, and implementation per week, you can realistically be seeing a significant profit in the first 2 to 3 months. So what do you think? At this point, you're either saying hell yes or it's a pass. It's kind of a litmus test that I do. When I'm presented with something that's going to take up time and resources out of my family and out of my current business, if I'm not saying to myself or out loud, hell yes, then it's a pass. To be sure, continue to review the due diligence package that was sent to you in the email. Talk it over with all key decision makers in your business and in your family, and submit your video interview. Then, should you get the request to get on a one-on-one interview with us, then you're going to complete that one-on-one interview. At that interview, we will further vet each other and get to know each other on a more personal level. And if we both feel that we can work together, we will move forward with the onboarding process. If you're watching this video because you submitted your name and information on a squeeze page, then be sure to check your email, your spam, your junk folder for more information. If you happen to be watching this video because it was posted on YouTube or somewhere else, then check the description of this video for a link so that you could submit your information and get the information that you need to continue your due diligence should you desire to do so. You will also get access to the video interview so that you can go through the rest of the process that I described during this conversation. Now, regardless of what most people will tell you, business consultants, I've heard some say things like, look, you don't need a web page, you don't need books, you don't need none of this stuff to be successful as a business consultant. And while that may be true, it's a long road to haul. It takes a lot longer, it's very frustrating, and few people have the wherewithal to go the distance. It's so much simpler, so much less frustrating, and so much quicker to plug into a system and have all of these assets already in place for you, giving you the instant credibility and the knowledge that you need to be successful. So just a few of the assets that are required for success that you get access to within this system is the profit acceleration software, the marketing for you and your clients, group coaching platform, online business academy, lead generation site, live and virtual event mastery, the onboarding team, weekly mastermind calls, coaches resources center, including the master ad library, and the fulfillment and CRM system that you get by specifically working with my team, allowing you to work with clients who stay and pay for years, not just months, and so much more that I couldn't even list here. There's 4 phases to success using this type of process. Phase 1, do your due diligence. That takes about 1 to 5 days. You watch the videos, answer the surveys, look at the case studies, check out the testimonials that are on my page of coaches and consultants that I've already worked with. Then phase 2, you get set up and training. That takes about 2 to 3 months with your onboarding, your technical team, building all your books and your websites, your training, your videos and your role plays. Then you've got phase 3, where it takes about 3 to 4 weeks, where you start learning more about the assets, you're getting access to everything, you get a unique lead generation process, and training with the 70% conversions and the follow-up system. Then phase 4 is client results. You're gaining clients, you are getting them the results that they need, and that takes right around 3 to 6 months. It's step-by-step implementation, tracking, and automation. Again, is it a hell yes or is it a pass? I'm okay either way. I just want you to be okay with your decision. So continue your due diligence. Go ahead and submit your video interview and get ready to get on a call with one of us so that we can get to know you a little bit better and welcome you to the team. Whether you decide to join us or not, I wish you the best, and I thank you very much for what you consider to do as a business consultant, because business owners need this level of support. I wish you the best. Take care. So let's take a look at the numbers from just going to networking events with a direct approach and a script and know exactly what your goals are. If you can average 8 appointments per event, obviously that depends on how many people are at the event and how many conversations you have. But let's say you have 10 to 15 conversations, you could realistically get to the point to where you could easily book 8 appointments per event. If you attend 2 events per week, that's 8 events per month, you could total 64 appointments. Now, I don't know how much time you have, but 64 appointments is quite a few. Even if you cut that in half and get 32 appointments, you're going to be doing pretty darn good. Now let's look at the numbers from live and virtual events. You could conservatively average 5 appointments per event. And if you do 2 live events and 4 virtual events per month, you could realistically land 30 appointments per month. You add that to the 64 appointments that you got from networking, and you've got a total of 94 appointments per month. I don't know if you can handle that many, but even if you cut that in half, you're doing pretty good. And that's just from 2 of the marketing strategies, 2 of the lead generation strategies and booking strategies that I mentioned earlier.